What's happening, everybody? I am Eric J. Olson. I am your host today for this live episode of the Managing Partners podcast, where we interview America's top managing partners about how they're running their firms, how they're growing their firms, and how they're keeping their case pipeline full. And today I have with me Cary Levinson. Hey, Cary.
Hey, Eric. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, I appreciate you making the time. So let me tell the audience a little bit about you. Cary is the co-managing partner of Levinson and Capuano, a business and family law firm located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Cary is an experienced litigator, entrepreneur, and community leader. Cary earned a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Florida and his JD at Florida International University College of Law. There, Cary met his current partner and wife, Ariel Capuano. Together, they formed Levinson and Capuano, LLC. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for that thoughtful intro. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for being patient with me. We had to make sure we got the names right. Capuano.
I appreciate it. Again, she'll appreciate it too. Thank you, man.
No problem. Hey, just looking at your bio here. So a couple interesting things. In particular, the digital artist. Let's hear more about that.
Oh, yeah. I love Instagram, frankly. I guess I kind of do it, some political satire, some just general humor, I'd say I go for. It started, I'm a digital native, so I've been making websites and things on the internet since I was a little kid. I was really fortunate. I grew up in a house where my dad ran a large business, so I had broadband and fastest speed internet and the best infrastructure, essentially a great toolkit to learn both business and arts, frankly. So I live in Fort Lauderdale. I live right off Las Olas. We have a really thriving art community here. So I like to spend a little bit of time, balancing the lawyer stuff with some of the artist stuff and some of the media stuff, frankly, too. It's just a lot more fun, and it's great to fill the cup.
Very cool. That's awesome. I appreciate that background. What about more about you and your firm, if you would? Can you tell us a little bit about you and what your firm does, the size, things like that?
Yeah, well, like you said, I'm a co-managing partner with my current wife, who I met in law school, Ariel. We started the firm in 2011. We had spent a little bit of time at a couple of smaller boutique firms before that. We launched Broward Legal, and from there, everything kind of took off. We went viral for child support related content first, and we went viral for prenuptial agreement related content. And Google just started to kind of recognize us as having great credibility. So we expanded our content footprint into more family law and divorce, and it created a really solid stream of work. So yeah, traditionally, we've been a divorce and family law firm, including child custody and prenuptial agreements, post-nups as well. But kind of during COVID, there's been such an influx of businesses coming down here. So we've gotten more into doing outside general counsel and just supporting the business community. We'd already supported so many families on the family law end. So we developed a lot of trust in our community. My wife's also the former board chair of Voices for Children of Broward County, which is a large community nonprofit organization that supports children in the dependency system around Broward County. We're also leaderships in the local bar leaders in the local bar association. So it's a great community. Again, we're browardlegal.com. So we kind of feast on Google, frankly. That's a lot of the secret sauce. That's a lot of really what keeps our firm moving.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, certainly you can't go wrong if Google approves of you, and they will send a lot of traffic your way. But you're doing so much more than that because, I took some notes here: community, relationship management, reputation, right? So you really can't do amazing in Google if you don't have some of those other things going on. And it seems like no single thing is the answer. It's a lot of different things. But on the Google front, it sounds like that was an early win for you. Were you making a concerted effort at the time or now to put out content that you thought your ideal prospective clients were interested in? Or was this something you did every day?
Yeah, we did actually at the time. It was 2009, so the economy had kind of just hit, kind of tanked at that point. So there was, like I said, we went viral for child support related content first. There were a lot of people that couldn't pay their child support at the time, so I had people calling me from all over the world essentially that couldn't afford their child support. So again, Google success, it's not always exactly what you're looking for. Sometimes you have to whittle down what comes to you. But yeah, we were definitely putting out content that we thought would be really helpful. Right now, I'm pumping a lot of prenuptial agreement content because we're kind of coming into wedding season in South Florida. So yeah, you kind of give the people what they want, and then Google helps amplify it. That definitely still works that way. That has not changed.
That's great. What are some other ways that you go about getting new clients? And especially since you have a couple of different practice areas, we talked about business law, family law. From your website, I see you also do some personal injury. I don't know if that's a big one for you or not, but several different kinds of practices. And I'm guessing you have different techniques for different practice areas when it comes to getting the attention of your clients.
Well, fortunately, we did good work for a lot of the people that we've worked with. So we do get a lot of word of mouth. We're both between the nonprofit and the community involvement that we have. Also, I live right off Las Olas Boulevard, which is one of the main commercial thoroughfares around here. And there's just endless networking opportunities. So yeah, everything complements the other, frankly, especially doing good work in your community for your clients, whether it's through the business or on the nonprofit side. Everything that you do, there's that butterfly effect. And we hear from people all the time that refer us work, from other people that we helped. We hear from people all the time that we even didn't help referring us work, just people in other markets that managed to find us on directories and things of that nature. So there's so many opportunities, but yeah, like I said, kind of everything works off the other.
That's great. Congratulations. So we hear about referrals a lot on this podcast, and I'm a big fan of referrals. I love referrals, right? Everybody loves referrals. Is there any kind of system that you've put into place that would nurture creating referrals? Do you ask for them explicitly? Do you keep in touch with past clients? Is there anything like that you have in process right now?
Yeah, I mean, we use a little email tickler system for some past clients. We've got our lawyer network. A lot of that, frankly, I feel like I connect with a lot of the lawyer network through just social media, through both the firm and my personal social media. It's again, we've got Broward County's a larger economy than quite a few states. So just focusing on Broward County and just, really just drilling into the community here, and again, just making an impact here. And again, a couple emails here and there, and some even, frankly, the digital art stuff goes much further quite often than making a post about divorce or child support. The social media algorithms don't necessarily always want to pick up on that stuff. So when it comes to staying fresh in people's minds who refer me work, talking to you, talking to other media circles. We've got so many incredible local events. We've got the upcoming boat show. We've got art walk. We've got Winterfest Boat Parade. We've got just so much to be involved in. So, you stay in the lawyer circles, you talk to the lawyers, and you also get away from the lawyer circles and you talk to the broader community.
Yeah, I think that's important. You're right. Inside of the industry, outside of the industry. Yeah, that's great. By the way, your website address, that must not have been easy to come by. Was it available when you bought it originally?
The website address, it was available when we bought it originally. It was just a direct purchase from one of the providers. It wasn't like something that I had to pay thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for. But after developing it all this time, it's kind of incredible what we've been able to build it into. So yeah, it's a great opportunity if you can find something like that in your market. There's still so many markets that are underdeveloped, frankly. I'm talking to a lot of lawyers in other markets who are trying to kind of build something like what we've got, and I try to provide them with some mentorship. And really, you just put out that content and you try to give the market what it wants, and Google will reward you generally.
You're right. Yeah, if you do the things that Google says they would like you to do, they will reward you. But the actual name Broward Legal is great. It's short. It's easy to remember, and obviously very pertinent to you. No, I love it. It's different too, because not a lot of law firms, it seems like to me at least, have chosen a domain name that is not their firm name. And there are pros and cons of that, but I think it's great because it's, again, short, memorable. It's easy to say. People can repeat it, so that should aid in referrals. Have you found that to be the case?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, it kind of gives you a certain amount of credibility. It also gave me kind of the ability to be more of a managing partner at Broward Legal. It's not like my name only on there. A lot of lawyers have their domain as just their name. So the consumer reaches out, they expect to just be talking to that person. And I definitely try to, personally be available to my clients. But at the same time, it's important to develop a brand just away from me, especially if I'm trying to manage others to do work. So it's essential, I would say, in that respect, in terms of management.
That's excellent. What are some of your plans for the next couple of years?
Well, I mean, we'd really like to continue to expand more into business law, a little bit into real estate, a little bit more into personal injury. We've just worked with so many lawyers over the years, and we've now kind of strengthened our network. We know who does a really great job when it comes to different areas of practice. This is South Florida, so we've seen some lawyers fall off. We've seen some attrition. We've seen some interesting developments. It's, again, South Florida, but at this point, again, we know a great network of local attorneys who we can work hand in hand with to do a lot more diverse things than we were doing in the past. Divorce and family law, it's great to help the community for sure. But over some time, it can certainly burn you out a little bit dealing with, the complex nature of what we were dealing with. So diversifying and again, just doing a little bit more management is certainly the ticket at the moment.
So, that's an interesting concept. If you're cool with it, do you mind if we dive into a little bit like how you're changing the focus?
Sure.
So I want to met like anything in life, pros and cons, right? So of either staying with a practice area or specialization for a long time, or switching, or maybe adding another one. But I'm guessing a lot of managing partners are kind of thinking about maybe adding another practice area, maybe switching practice areas completely. Do you have any advice, tips, and tricks about doing either one of those things?
I mean, it's hard to have the confidence to change, for sure. A lot of lawyers get stuck doing what they're doing. They're afraid to dilute their market. And frankly, I struggled with that myself for some time. It's difficult to move away, especially when you're acknowledged for being good at one thing. But at the same time, again, there's just too much opportunity to not continue to expand and to, really pigeonhole yourself for one thing when when we're Broward Legal and really only focusing on divorce and family law, we were really underutilizing our brand. So for us, it was a little bit easier because I knew that I could rely on the Broward Legal credibility. For others, it could be a little more difficult. It's you need to make sure that you can turn the tide about what you're known for on the internet, and that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of content. It takes a lot of different new media references, new directory references. I was all over the internet, known for one thing. I'm not trying to necessarily move away from it entirely, but diversifying does mean, again, I need to be putting other signals out there. What those signals should be really depends kind of on, what you've already got in terms of what your current footprint looks like. There's just so many new digital options to expand into. Even if your website really does only focus on one thing, at this point, kind of we're finding if we do some social media advertising for other things, social, we just tag it for what we want to tag it, and it has a lot less to do with what we've got going on organically. So it's a good time to diversify, frankly, with what you can do in terms of targeting specific markets and just tailoring content again to new and expanding needs.
Yeah, I would agree. It is a good time. We're coming out of a strange period with the coronavirus kind of receding into history, hopefully, but certainly things are coming back to normal. And then your geographic location, it's just amazing. Southern Florida, Miami area, Fort Lauderdale. I was down there a couple months ago, just booming. There's so much going on. You mentioned real estate. I saw real estate projects left and right being built, and I see it all the time on social media, the internet. All these real estate projects usually happening in South Florida. So it's just one of those things, I think, where if you see opportunity, there's a decision to make. And the easy decision, which I think most people make, is do nothing. But sometimes sometimes that's actually the riskiest decision, right? So, and maybe it's not what you want to do. So congratulations on actually going for it and making the change when you saw it was time to make the change.
I appreciate it. You mentioned in my intro that I'm an avid yogi. If it wasn't for what I learned through yoga and through my wife, becoming a yoga teacher, it's that definitely helped bring in the change and me being willing to be flexible. And I highly encourage burnt out lawyers to try yoga. It'll make it so you're a lot more comfortable just moving forward with the things you need to move forward in life. It just helps you adopt a new view, essentially, of the problems that are in front of you, and just it kind of tries to get you out of the stress that so many lawyers find themselves in every day. I open my email still to constant every morning to new stressors from new potential clients that are sending me things, and my voicemail, same deal. So, being able to get away from that for a little bit and quiet your mind and, focus on what really matters and the change that you can make to put yourself in a better place. It's definitely worth the time. It's worth the investment.
Yeah, I don't practice yoga a lot. My wife does. I do it every once in a while. But I have a similar kind of outlet as you physically. I run. And so I'll go on a 4 or 5 mile run, and it's 40, 45 minutes, something like that. And either I'm listening to nothing and I'm just in my head and I'm just kind of processing and fleshing out the day, or I'll listen to an audiobook. Right. And so, but it's that quiet time that you need to yourself to kind of like, the rest of the world can just wait, and you're focusing on yourself and you're thinking through options. So I find that time to be very valuable for me.
It is. And a lot of lawyers just didn't have that time. The billable hour doesn't leave you with a lot of free time, and the prior office life that many lawyers were living didn't leave you with that free time. During COVID, a lot of us had to learn new ways to spend that extra time. And again, it's just really paid such great benefits in investing in that time. It's a great time, of course, also to, again, kind of reflect on the market and reflect what the market needs and help kind of figure out where to go in terms of what to develop. Again, like being in fight or flight, which is what the clients really keep you in, doesn't create good environment to be creative, which again, that's why I try to be a digital artist too. And I try to get away from that kind of stuff so that way I can be inspired.
Well, good for you. That was really interesting. I appreciate your time, Cary. If someone would like to reach out to you and pick your brain, they want to find out more about yoga, or they have maybe a referral for you, what is a good way to get in touch with you?
You guys can certainly reach me at our website, browardlegal.com, Broward like the county, browardlegal.com. You can reach me on our phone at our office. It's 954-703-2110. You can find us on Instagram, Broward Legal. You could find me personally on Instagram if you're interested in my digital art too. We're all over social: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. A little bit more limited on YouTube, I'd say, but I appreciate you today. Hopefully this ends up on our YouTube at some point.
What is your personal Instagram?
Personal Instagram is it's CARLEV. It's just my first 3 letters, first and last name. Nothing too inventive there. Broward Legal I've got, but for myself personally, just Cary Lev, basic branding for me.
It works. All right. Well, thanks so much. All right, everybody. If you would like to check out more episodes like this, where we interview America's top managing partners, you can find that at arraylaw.com/podcast. Our interviews are organized by practice area and by state, so you can drill down and find exactly what you're looking for. And if you are looking for digital marketing assistance, my firm, Array Digital, can be found online at arraylaw.com. If you go there, you can find out more about our services, which include website design, online advertising, search engine optimization, and social media. All right, Cary, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me, man.